in just a minute, but again, people keep sort of pouring in. Michael, I feel like we need some music or something.
It's the biscuit.
No, we don't need that. Terrible. That's horrible. And now folks are dropping off. Actually, 3 people did. Just kidding. All right, we'll give it another minute and then we'll get started. All right. Michael, you think we should get started now? Been 2 or 3 minutes.
We'll have folks that are going to be funneling in, and so we'll do some housekeeping here in just a minute. But yeah, I think if you want to go ahead and start working on introductions, I think we're good to go for that.
That sounds good. And yeah, so just a quick intro. My name is Brent Germany. I'm a local real estate broker here in the DFW area. Our office is in Plano. I live in Prosper. We work all over the Metroplex. Michael is the head of sales for our team. And we will have a little housekeeping. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat. We'll sort of have a Q&A at the end. But the one thing that we don't want to happen is you forget your question. So go ahead and get it. And we'll try to answer them as we go. But we definitely will reserve some time at the end for some Q&A. I think, again, some housekeeping, and Michael will touch on this as well, is one of the things that you generally see on these webinars is some sort of like sales pitch at the end. That's not going to happen with us. I don't believe in that. And it's kind of like, and we'll mention it later, like door knocking. I don't door knock. I don't want someone knocking on my door, so I don't go do it. This truly is something where it's so much better to work with agents who are, when you're doing a transaction, that are knowledgeable and have best practices, and it just makes everything go so much smoother. And we really come from the place where we want to just give as much as we can back to our real estate community, and that's really what this is. And so we're going to continue to do this and just continue to get back, and hopefully that people continue to pay that forward, and it all makes us better as a whole. Michael, do you want to add anything to that?
I'll just echo what Brent's saying, is that we're not doing this for any underlying reason. It's just, we talk to a lot of folks throughout the real estate community, and unfortunately, one of the things that we hear a lot of is just, I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of help. I don't feel like I'm getting my questions answered. And really, we want to pay it forward. We want to help folks out. We want to make sure that those folks that we're working with within our community, that we're sharing our knowledges, our best practices, the hard lessons learned, and things like that. And so we're kicking this off with that being the goal in mind. And so, yes, we will not try to pitch you on anything. It's just an opportunity to share some best practices with everybody and hopefully create a learning environment. But throughout the webinar, there are going to be some things that we're going to ask you to engage in, some questions that we're going to ask, but please do post your questions as we go into the chat. We'll answer those on the fly. We will have a Q&A at the end, but do not ask questions. The only dumb questions are the ones that you don't ask. So please do share those throughout. So
Great. So yeah, Michael, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think a big thing that everybody has to ask themselves is, particularly what's happened as of late in the last 7 or 8 months, is that the narrative around the real estate market is that it's tough. And so we want to help people understand that you can thrive in this type of market, in this type of environment, as opposed to just surviving. So if you have any comments, you want to add anything, are you worried about the current market? Has it scared you? Does it scare you? Did I make the right choice choosing real estate? Am I going to last in this? So all of these types of questions, if you're sharing any sort of grief or experiencing that, please share those thoughts in the chat. We'd like to hear all of it. But as someone who helps run a team with Brent, we hear a lot of those comments within our own doors. And so a big motivating factor behind this too is to let you know that you're not out there on your own. A lot of people do feel this way. And this is what we want to try to overcome. And we understand that this invite went out to the public, but we understand that everybody's at different stages in their real estate career. You know, some people may be looking to do 2 or 3 transactions a year. Some people may be looking at this as a career and wanting to do 20 to 30 transactions a year. So the content that we're going to discuss today should transcend all of that and should be applicable to wherever you are in your real estate career. So keep that in mind. We're going to touch a little bit on that. I know everybody comes from a different walk of life, and getting into the real estate industry where you are a business owner, it's going to require a mentality change to some degree. So we're going to talk a lot about those types of things and skill sets and best practices. But Brent, I think you were going to talk a little bit about some of the expectations that I think people have going into the real estate industry.
Yeah, I think it's well, to touch on what you were just saying is a good analogy to, hey, your goal may be this, somebody's goal may be to just create some mega team and do all this business. We like to say it's kind of like CrossFit. We don't want everyone doing the same thing because that's how people get hurt. Everyone has their own path that they're on. And, who are we to say what that path should be for you? You set your own goals and your own expectations of what you want to get out of real estate. So I think that a lot of people get into this business. They watch too much HGTV. They watch Selling Sunset, $1 Million Listing. That is all so completely staged and such a false representation. This job isn't hard, but it is hard work. And with anything that you do in life, to get success, there's really no get rich quick. We know people, everyone knows someone like that tries to find that money tree in their backyard that's just not there. And, where you're going to get the best results in life are just buckling down and doing the work. And so, as far as the funny thing is, about 3 weeks ago, most of you on this call have probably heard of Broken Bow, Oklahoma. I have a cabin there that's a short-term rental cabin, Airbnb out there. And I used a realtor when I bought it a year ago. And she called me maybe 3 weeks ago asking me if I wanted to be on HGTV's House Hunters. And I said, oh. And my wife said, oh, this is so cool. And I said, I don't know if that is cool because Broken Bow's right next to Dallas and I'm a broker and they wanted us to pretend to be buyers for our cabin that we already owned and stage the whole thing. And then of course, like colleagues, you guys would see me on TV is like, well, I thought that guy was a real estate agent. So we turned that down. It's also staged. It is just, I just found that kind of funny. So to give you a little background into me personally, I've been in this business for 12 years now. Maybe 13 years. The time flies and, our team has grown. I created a team. That's what worked for me. My wife joined my team. She quit her job and she got her real estate license and joined. Then we got pregnant with twins and, she's still on maternity leave and they're going to be 9 this summer. So she hates that joke. Michael is laughing, but, there's some truth to it. And I'm not downplaying stay-at-home moms. She works harder than I do. I get to go to work and make jokes like this, right? So that being said, we are fortunate enough to help several hundred families get in and out of houses every single year. And it's just really cool to be, help serve those people and each and every year. So, but I started this business just like everybody else. I started not knowing what I was doing. I started not knowing how I was going to make the next thing. And my job, just to give you some really detailed background on me, I got a computer science degree and I was building I got my real estate license so I get access to the data feed for the MLS. I know that is super nerdy, but I was building like this truly a Zillow type website thing. And then Zillow blew up and I go, oh, well, I guess I'm done with that. What am I going to do now? And thankfully I had a buddy that was a loan officer with Veterans United Home Loans, and he gave me a few deals and it was off to the races. I had never been in sales before, ever. I didn't wait tables in college. I had jobs in college, but it was never in like the food service industry or anything like that. So, but I had this massive background in the web. And so I started doing lead generation for myself. And that's when Facebook lead generation was still sort of a thing and still viable. And so I started getting leads. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I'll make this story quick so we can get in the meat and potatoes of this, but she was renting a house near me. And her job was to listen. She worked at the University of Phoenix, and she was in enrollment, and she was a director there, and she managed a sales team, and she just listened to calls all day and critiqued people. And I said, well, gosh, and I was terrified. And I said, I have to call these people. And she said, well, would you like for me to sit next to you and listen to you and tell you where you're doing right or wrong? And I was like, there's no way that's going to happen. No way. It's like, you stay up here. I'm going to close every door. I'm going to soundproof the house. And then I came out like an hour later, dripping sweat. And she's like, how'd that go? And I was like, gosh, that was the worst thing I've ever had to do in my life. And she said, and this is why I tell this story, because if any of you on this call are newer into real estate, she said, Brent, it's a muscle you've got to exercise. And that goes into things like role playing, finding accountability buddies that will do this with you. You always need to be sharpening your tools. And I'll never forget that, because I was so bad at it and so nervous. The people I talked to, they had to have known I was nervous, just stuttering but you know what? I'm awesome at it now. And I'm not afraid to say that. It's not a humble brag. It's something I worked really hard at. So I'm really great at that. So anyway, that's my background. Michael, you want to give yours really quick? Because I think I took too much time.
That's fine. I mean, I knew Brent and Lindsay. Lindsay was actually my boss for quite a while. And so we had a similar background. So when she didn't want to come on board to help the team out, he leaned in on me. And there's a similar, there's a consistency in what we teach to. And again, it's a humble brag, but I think I'm one of the better lead converters that you're going to encounter. I do convert quite a few of them. But I was brought on to be our head of sales. And one of the concerns that I had was having a background not in real estate are people going to respect that? What I learned is that regardless of industry, a lot of the skills translate, a lot of the competencies translate. And so, it did catapult me into production to earn that respect. And so I'm on the front lines every single day producing. So what we're talking about are things that we do day in and day out. And, it's been fun. It's been great, and I love this industry, and look forward to continuing on in it. So again, the information that you're coming from are people that have done this at a high level for a long time, and so hopefully everything that we give you is valuable. And to go back to a little bit of the housekeeping, what we are going to share with you folks are 5 different points that are things that you need to jot down. And we'll let you know when we get to those. So what we want you to do is go ahead and write those down. We don't have a slide deck. We're going to share a few things with you folks, but a lot of what we're talking about isn't revolutionary, but it is critical to your success and something that 95% of agents take for granted. So hopefully you take a lot from this. And again, post your questions in the chat as we go. And I'm going to kick it back to Brent for the first thing that we want you to jot down. And that's fear. So go ahead.
Absolutely. So this is, again, echo what Michael was saying, not revolutionary stuff, but I can tell you people drop the ball on this one, and it is number one most important, and that is working your sphere of influence at an amazingly high level. As I've already said, this is something where my business was a high online lead generation business. And we had so much coming through that it was we had so much coming through that it was tough to stay focused on continuing to call those past clients and those sphere and keeping in touch with them. So that being said, it's one of those things that you have to do. And I want to kind of just throw an exercise at everybody, and this is not something you need to write down. We will send you, we've got everyone's email address because you registered through Zoom. So we're going to send you a few things at the end. Just we want to give away everything that we use. Whenever we do have people come to our brokerage or come to our team or whatnot, we have them fill out a sphere of influence worksheet. And I know you may be sitting there going, oh yeah, sphere. Yeah, I know that already. Awesome. That is great. But how are you doing this? How are you doing at a high level? This worksheet, it's like, so what do we use now? I'm 45 years old. So we had phone books and Rolodexes and all those things. And, those are so obsolete. You know, people probably don't even know what a phone book is. What we have now is cell phones and iPhones and what have you, and everyone's sphere is basically in that, right? So I think you need to think past that and think past, go into social media. How many people are in social media that you're friends with on Facebook or Instagram, you're connected with on, you're following on Instagram or whatnot, that you don't have this information. They're not in your phone. So they need to be, you need to start. Matter of fact, my sphere worksheet is broken into work colleagues, realtors that I know, because I'm going to keep in touch with them for a different reason. I'm not going to talk to them about needing to buy or sell a house. But I've got my family divided in there. And, you know, some of my family doesn't live here in Dallas. So, but they're still in there. But it comes down to, if I asked everyone, do you have everyone's first name, last name, and phone number for every single contact in your phone? You would probably say yes. Now mom is probably mom, dad is probably dad. I'm one of the weirdos that has my mom's first and last name in there. I just do. So, but do you have everyone's email address? Do you have everyone's birth date? Do you have everyone's home address? So that's one of those things that you need to work on with this worksheet that we'll send you in an email, and you'll probably get it later today. But it is getting everyone's. You want to make this like a multiple week task. It's not something that you can put together overnight. Get that first name, get that last name, get that phone number, get that email. Go into Facebook, go into social medias. It will tell you when their address or when their what their birthdays are, so you can get that. You want to get those data points. And so that makes me think of is there is a guy who he started Gramercy Tavern in New York, and he also started Shake Shack. He's written a couple books. His name is Danny Meyer. And Danny Meyer has a video. Matter of fact, I'm going to post this video into the chat right now for everybody to save. Let's see. 1 second, everyone. I've got this link right here. There it is. I would say it's like a 5-minute video. I would challenge everyone to watch this after this webinar. It's 4 or 5 minutes, and he talks about the importance of hospitality and having a service mindset. And one of the things that I love that he says is he is always collecting dots to always be connecting dots. And so having this information, knowing when it's somebody's birthday, making sure that you're able to send them a birthday card in time. But there are things that we do on this. And so whenever we call once a quarter, we call our sphere of influence once a quarter. We'll have call nights. Again, this is a team related thing. We'll have call nights where we'll get together and get pizza. And you cannot call all of your sphere in one night, because guess what's going to happen? They're going to answer the phone because they already know, like, and trust you. So these are the people that you're going to have. So Michael, actually, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can you model that call for us?
Yeah, I think it's just going into it, not expecting anything in return. So you're not actually asking for a referral, but it's more of just like, hey, what's going on? You know, it's been a while since I last talked to you. I thought about you and just wanted to check in. How are things? It doesn't have to be scripted, but you kind of want to let them know you're thinking about them. That's what's important. It's the same thing about getting greeting cards. You're thinking of me. But there are a variety of things that you can talk about every month, kind of assess what's going on within that month, what's happening. And that helps with talking points. So you could say, did you guys survive the cold? You know, how'd that go? Spring break's coming up. You guys have any plans for spring break? What's going on with the family? You know, I shared last night that we had a birth announcement. And so that's something that somebody else, if they saw, they could reach out to me and call me about that. Hey, congratulations, man. So it doesn't have to be scripted. It's just, hey, what's up? Been a little bit since I talked to you, just thought of you. And if it's somebody that you generally text a lot, it would mean a lot to them if you actually gave them a call. I've got a best friend that calls me every once in a while and he goes, man, was just thinking about you. Just felt like giving you a call and talking to you. And that means a lot. So when you call your sphere, call them.
I think that's such a good point to show the simplicity of this, because what you're not going to want to do, and first and foremost, you're not calling them just to like secretly be trying to at some point get some a sale from them or a referral from them. You're calling them because they're your sphere and you love them. That's the whole purpose of this. And so if anything, it's going to enrich your lives by doing this. and theirs as well. It's awesome to get a phone call from, like Michael said, that's somebody that you haven't heard from in a long time. So that being said, it's for those Ted Lasso fans out there, he always says, be curious. And that's one of those things that you always want to do. Social media is your friend. People post their lives. Michael literally just said that he's having another kiddo, and that's amazing. And he just let basically the world know yesterday. What a great time to turn around and call that person. And so you really want to talk to these people 90 days. Like Michael said, there's people you text. Um, there are people in my sphere that I don't call on call night. I'm not going to call my brother or my mom on call night. I talk to them all the time. It's fine. But those people that you don't talk to all the time, give them that call. You still want to do things when you get the birth dates, things like that. What we do as a team is we do them on the first day of every month. Now, whenever we're talking about sphere of influence, or we call it SOI, if once you do, and a lot of you have, unless you're brand new into real estate, you have past sales. Even if you're from a different state and you're new here, you still have past sales from where you were, or you have a sphere for where you were. You still want to keep up with those people. Without a doubt, you want to keep up with those people. You may have a listing here that moves out of state. You still want to keep up with that person. Why? Because they still have a sphere. They still know people here, and you still want to stay top of mind to that person. So once you've built up past clients, now we change that terminologies from sphere of influence, or SOI. We call it PCSOI, which is past clients, sphere of influence. So we get into that. And I do think that actually, Michael, let me ask you, when is it appropriate on that call to ask for a referral? You said don't do it.
Don't do it. And I think the thing that you just mentioned, that's the most important thing, is staying top of mind. Because when you're reaching out to these folks, you're not asking for anything in return, but what you're doing is keeping yourself top of mind and sharing with them. They should know what you do for a living. You can post that out to social media, and we're going to talk about leveraging social media here in just a minute. But how many times have we seen where somebody that is a friend or a colleague of yours that posts like, I just sold my house, or my house is active. This literally just happened to me last week. Someone that I know that I worked with posted, my house is going up for sale in the market in Little Elm. And I was just like, how did I miss that? And it was because that person didn't view me as top of mind. And it means that I didn't do a good enough job with that person of doing that. So that's why you do it. It's not to ask anything in return. It's just to simply maintain visibility.
I laugh because that is something I was just about to say. It burns me up to see friends use someone else, a past client use someone else. Shame on me. It is not cool to be mad about that, because that's my fault. That is my fault. I didn't keep in touch with them. You cannot be transactional in this business. You have to be relational. This business has very little to do with houses. You have to have a service and a servant's mindset. And you have to continue to think of it in that terminology. You cannot be like, all right, on to the next one. There's a time and a place for that. That's Zillow's deal. That's not successful agents' deal. You need to continue to do that. We will send, and I would say, I'll give you another analogy there. I have a lease vehicle person, and we do have one lease with our family. We do that on purpose because if you have to have, I'm not going to get in the weeds on tax write-offs and all this stuff, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you can write off 100% of that payment. And so it is a good tax write-off. So we have one lease, but my lease guy at D&M Leasing, his name is Joe Phillips. So look him up if you ever need a car. I'm telling you. So I'm actually doing exactly what he wants me to do. And he's not telling me to do it. Every birthday, every holiday. Hey, brother, it's Joe. Your family. I'm always thinking about you. How are Lindsay? How are the kids? Oh my gosh. He knows how old my kids are because he asks. He has all that information. He sends me Christmas cards. He doesn't have to do any of that stuff. And I'm in sales. I know what he's doing and why he's doing it. But at the same time, I go back to my team and I was like, hey, Joe called me again. if I have sent him so much business over the years because of that. And if I had leased one car from him and he never called me again, I would not remember his name. And there's some statistic that's like 70% of people would use their same agent again if they could remember their name. Something like it's, 60% of all stats are made up on the spot. So that was probably one of them. I don't know the exact percentage. It's at least 70% or higher. So keep that in mind. And so remember that call is the same for past clients as it is for your sphere. And there are people that may say, well, I just moved here. I know someone on the call is from Orlando. Oh, maybe I don't have a big sphere here. That's fine. You're gonna meet people. You're gonna go out there and go network. And that's what you need to go out there and do. So we will send that worksheet out to everybody. Michael, before we move on, because we've spent a lot of time on that. Is there anything you need to add?
No, I think we summed it up. The best phrase that I can tell you that is the importance of Sphere and past client Sphere is that it is and always will be your most valuable lead source, and you need to treat it as such.
It is. Michael and I both have coaches in business, and I get to this day still chastised about why I don't have. Did you call your sphere this week? Oh, I didn't have time. What are you doing that is more important in your business than calling the people who are your best lead source and your best referral source, who already will literally just shout from the rooftops how awesome you are? Oh no, I spent my time calling Facebook leads that don't want to talk to me or ever hear from me. Seriously? Just this has to be top priority. Okay, so going into the second thing I want to talk about, again, not revolutionary, open houses. I'm telling you right now that you can run open houses twice a weekend, every single weekend, and you'll make over $100,000 a year. You will. There are ways to do this to where it's more advantageous. I have a buddy of mine that is with Coldwell Banker right now, and we used to be in the same brokerage, and he's built his entire business on open houses. And I love using him as an example because they're not his listings that he's running open houses on. He is reaching out to other agents and asking them, can he run an open house this weekend? And he runs one every Saturday and every Sunday. The funny thing about this guy is he's come to me several times like, hey, I think about buying some lead sources. Then he'll come back to me and say like, yeah, that didn't really work out. It's like, well, what you do best are these open houses. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going back and sticking with that. And that's a great thing. You can make six figures doing that, but what you're doing is you're building up that past client database for referral sources. So every time you do that, you're building up more and more people that you can keep in touch with. So point two on the open houses directly relates to point one because those two things go hand in hand. And part of the difficulty for someone that you can cold call leads, you can call FSBOs, expireds, canceled, you can do all this stuff. The object of that conversation is to get in front of people. Well, skip to the front of the line. Yeah, you can cut. Cuts are allowed in this one. Go do an open house. You're getting in front of people right away. So one of the things, I think there's a misconception too on open houses. A lot of people think that open houses are to go out and find buyers. That is a complete misconception. You need to go out and you need to run them the right way, because who's going to come into your open houses? Nosy neighbors are going to come in there, and you won't know it, but they are interviewing you. If they ever decided to sell and you're doing an amazing job, that's going to be it. We have an agent on our team right now. And matter of fact, he's actually going through, we call it like the graduation process. He's graduating off our team right now and going solo because he's built such a good business, which is awesome. Super proud of him. But he ran an open house. Was it February? So it was last year, maybe 6 months ago. And it was just happened to be a remodel. And they had been working on it for a couple months. He went and door knocked 10 people. We say door knock 10 houses to the left, 10 houses to the right, across the street if you can, and do those two. And he actually went and knocked on their doors, and he didn't, I don't think he left anything, but the people he talked to, he apologized for all of, not only for all the construction. He's like, but this house is gorgeous. We'd love for you to come by and check it out. And you know, we're gonna be doing the open house on this day at this time. And I want to go ahead and apologize a second time because I expect to be busy and your street might be pretty busy that day. And he had so many neighbors pop in and they appreciated that so much that he ended up getting listings out of that neighborhood. So again, yes, can you find buyers? Absolutely, 100%. Don't run an open house. Oh yeah, just let me know if you have any questions. You need to get their information. One of the things that my wife used to do is she would set up, if the house was, she make sure you're getting on the Wi-Fi. Make sure you're doing that. Bring your computer, bring up your MLS, and go ahead and set up shop. Maybe if, say there's a dining room by the exit door or something like that. Ask these questions. Be curious. Ask them what are they looking for. You know, what did you think about the house? Is the easiest question. Oh, it's not for us. Tell me more about that. That's one of Michael's favorite lines. Tell me more. It's so powerful. And so tell me more about this. And like, well, what are you looking for? What areas? Oh, you know, Frisco area, wherever, right? And you got MLS pulled up. It's like, hey, well, let me show you what's in here. And, you know, you can't get coming soons on Zillow, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, let me show you. And they go, oh, that's cool. It's like, hey, this is over it in an hour. You want to go see these? I'll try and get them scheduled right now. You could take that approach. You could take the approach of, hey, let me email this to you, this list to you so you have them. Oh, yeah, cool. What are you getting right there? Getting their contact information. You can do sign-in sheets. You can do all of that. I've had agents tell me that they have one person at the door that's like the security guard and the bouncer. And if you don't sign in, you're not getting in. Gross. I don't like any of that stuff. And if that's how you want to, if you want to be hardcore like that, more power to you. Go back to that CrossFit comment. You know, that's not on my workout routine. I am laid back and just friendly. When I sold my house in Dallas and, you know, we found out we were having twins, it's like, well, you know, public school, here we go. And no disrespect to Dallas public schools, but we moved to the suburbs. And now we're back in private school. So go figure. That being said, you know, I ran open houses at my own house and I had pictures of my kids' babies and all that. And that's how I broke the ice with people. It's like, hey, just so you know, this is my house. Those pictures on the wall are my kids. So be careful what you say. They're gorgeous. They're perfect. And, you know, I got a laugh out of people. So, and that's a good way to break the ice and just be friendly with people and say, and just make small talk and be curious. Get people to tell you more, not just, all right, cool. Thanks for stopping by. That's a waste of your time. Complete waste of your time. So, put out a lot of signs, knock on doors. We talked about that. How often should you run open houses? I think you should do them every Saturday, Sunday. We do have an email template that we will send you that works. You can send this. What you can do is you can think about, hey, what open house should I be running? Okay. So when you're running that, if you hit a certain price point and you want to be in a certain area, then search for houses in that area that are actively on the market. I think the first weekend is good. The second weekend tends to actually have more traffic. So keep that in mind. Price drops, when people do price drops, that reinvigorates it with the algorithms and things like that. So try and look for that. But you should shoot for where your target audience coming in to look at it is potentially a move up buyer, meaning they have a house to sell. So something in that, depending on where you're located, it could be, again, I'm going to use Frisco, say that 600 to 800,000 range, which is a great price point, but they may be coming from a 400,000 house. Okay. Well, you can help them do both of those things by getting in there. So that move up, so you can target that. The way the email reads and you're sending it, you want to find like 20 houses, send an email to every listing agent. It's fine if they say no. I run them myself. If you're with a brokerage that doesn't have a lot of people with listings, send it to brokerages that do. Who cares? I personally have my own feelings on that, but Listing agents may not care. They just want they just may want someone to run an open house. So who cares? Find 20 of them. You're sending an email, BCC them all so they don't all know they're getting the same email. It's like, hey, amazing agent, we'll send you this. And it's like, hey, I saw your listing you've got listed, and say if you're just doing Frisco. In Frisco, you're keeping it very generic, so the same email can be sent to anybody. I would absolutely love to run an open house either Saturday or Sunday. If one of those days works for you, I would love it. You just tell me the time on one of those 2 days and I'll make it happen. Some things that I promise to give you is I will give you amazing feedback from every single person that's there within the same day. The same day I'll provide you feedback. I will leave it as I found it. I'll take great care of the home. We have a bunch of points that go, oh man, this is really well thought out. So that's something we'll send you as well. So yeah, open houses are a great way to do this, and we will send you that template after the call, probably a little later this afternoon. So moving on. So we still have like 23 minutes, so we're doing good. Michael's going to talk about branding yourself. So Michael, take it away.
Yep. This is another one of those things that you need to jot down. So point 1, work your sphere to high level. Point 2, work open houses. Point 3 is branding yourself. If you are active on social media and people know that you are a real estate agent, you posted out there that you're a real estate agent, go ahead and chime into the chat. Just, type in ME, curious to know how many people are active on it. And going back to the whole sphere part of it, one of the themes behind what I'm going to tell you with branding yourself is be different and be brave. Making friends and putting yourself out there is not the easiest thing for people to do. I understand that. It's very easy for me to talk to people. I get told all the time that I can't believe that you get people on the phone and talk to them as long as you can. It's because I don't care. I mean, the worst that's going to happen, I used to say all the time, what's the worst that's going to happen if you ask people some questions and put yourself out there? Is somebody going to try to beat you up? That almost happened to an agent on our team. And so I have to preface that. But generally, if you just put yourself out there, what's the worst that anybody's going to say to you is no. And by branding yourself, again, when I say be different, we're going to talk a little bit about that and being brave. What I would tell every single one of you to do is today, go in and add yourself to as many local real estate or social types of Facebook and Instagram pages as you possibly can. There are DFW Realtor Association pages, wholesaler pages, investor pages, new agent pages, all of these things. Put yourself out there on every single one of them. The social pages, things to do in this community, things to do in this town, add yourself to those. You're going to have some of those pages. For example, I live in Gunner, which if any of you know geographically where that's at, it's up near Sherman. So I'll add myself to pages like Farmers Branch, Plano, Salina, things like that. And when you go to add yourself to those groups, it'll ask you the question, do you work or live in the area? Yeah, you're a real estate agent. Of course you work in the area, but you have to be careful in what you say on there, because some of those pages are run by realtors and they will moderate some of the content. But for the most part, if you just show a curious mindset, you're going to have a lot of success. And I want to give you guys a really specific example, a couple of them. And I'm apologizing ahead of time if any of you were on this thread and I beat you to it. But this is when I talk about being different, I want to share something with you folks here real quick. So give me just a moment. Let me pull my screen up. Okay, so this is my Facebook page right here, if you can see that. And let me go ahead and minimize this here real quick.
Yeah, we can see it.
So this page is called Stuff to Do in Dallas. It's a social media page where people are posting like, hey, I'm going to be in town. What is there to do? What are the best places to eat? But the reason why I say add yourself to social pages is because inevitably somebody's going to post something in there about real estate. And this person right here posted over the weekend, I'm looking to become a first-time home buyer this summer, July to September timeframe, and was wondering if any realtors offer a first-time home buyer seminar or class, preferably free to attend, but understand not everything is free nowadays. And as you can see, 66 comments right here. So 66 different agents or people that were referring agents commented here. And if you go through the comments, I don't think anybody did anything bad. I think what everybody did is something that I would expect of anybody. They were trying to be helpful. They were saying things like, yeah, we run webinars. I'm more than happy to get on a call with you. But you're having so many people throw themselves at you and at your feet that how do you delineate and how do you say, this is who I'm comfortable working with? So when Brent talked about collecting dots to connect dots, Not one person in this chat thought to look at this July to September timeframe. And I want to show you something. I went in and commented, have you thought about new construction with that timeline? If you know anything about new construction with houses that are being built, it takes anywhere from 4 to 8 months. Have you thought anything about that? I was the only person that this person responded to. And they asked a couple of questions. We have some concerns about it. All right, so what are your concerns? Oh, well, I'm concerned about the affordability or finding anything. I brand myself as someone who likes to be helpful, but also somebody that is knowledgeable. And I'm going to give you another example of that here in just a minute. Long story short, that person messaged me on direct messenger on Facebook Messenger, got an appointment set with them last night, completed an assessment and a conversation with them last night. Boom, I got a client. I didn't have to pay anything. It took me a couple minutes to go in there and post, and I was just attentive and I was different. Similar thing happened last night. My daughter, she's 2.5. She wasn't sleeping very well last night. I got up about 3 o'clock to check on her. Was on Facebook, just trying to get kind of calm down. Somebody in my community said, does anybody know anything about this builder up in Gunner? And I said, yeah, absolutely. They have this, and this, because I'm a knowledgeable person. I do the research. And they responded to me. I got a buy sell out of that. So in the last 4 or 5 days, I've gotten 3 Sphere transactions just by being different and attentive and putting myself out there and being brave and not being afraid of it. Another example of this, Saturday night, my wife and I were going out on a date. We went to go check on a community because I have virtual or out of town buyers, and they weren't able to be in town during this time. So I was like, you know what, I'll go and check this community out for you. Go out and check out a new build community, showing a curious mindset, asking the sales rep what's going on. Sales rep was not present, drove through the community, and I saw a couple that were going up to a house. And I was like, you know what? I'm curious to know what's going on with those folks. Got out of my car, went and talked to them. I was like, hey, how's it going, folks? And they were just like, oh, we just wanted to see this house. I was like, cool. Do you mind if I join you? They're like, sure. And we walked through, just start kind of small talking them. They're like, yeah, we just kind of started the process. We have a house out in Craig Ranch that we're going to sell and we're going to move out here. And I was like, well, not trying to be that sleazy real estate guy, but have you got anybody that's helping you out? They're like, no. It's like, I would love the opportunity to try to help you out. Just saying that is not comfortable for a lot of people. I'd love the opportunity to help you out. And they were like, yeah, sure. And then they went on to tell me that they've got a friend that works in the banking industry with them that's going to sell a house and move out there as well, that they've got a mother-in-law that's going to have to sell a house. So all of this combined just over the last few days, just by being brave and putting yourself out there and being different and asking for the business, picked up about $5.5 million worth of volume without taking a single lead. So those of you that don't have a Sphere built up, you don't always have to rely on leads. You can work open houses. You can check with your broker on those opportunities, but put yourself out there, add yourself to as many pages as possible, and actively engage people, but show a curious mindset. Ask open-ended questions.
Yeah, Michael, I say one of the things we say on our team, see if you know, whenever people just sort of throw up all over people like that, what do we call that?
Mission breath.
Commission breath. Exactly. You don't want to have commission breath. You want to come from a place of being helpful. Good stuff. Those are awesome. I love it.
Absolutely. So the last thing that I'll say about differentiating yourself, if any of you see it, I gotta be honest. If you want to go and patronize a business, you're not going to look at their social media posts to look at their menu to see what they're going to be serving. You're going to look at reviews and social media posts to justify your opinion that you've probably already got. You're about 90% there on making a decision. You just are looking at social media to make the decision on if you for sure want to work with this person or this business. Posting a lot of transactional stuff to social media, yes, it justifies that you're busy and you have business, but I can tell you overwhelmingly, most real estate agents out there are not telling the story. What's more impactful? Oh, I got another one under contract. It is a lot of patting on the back. Good for you. That's awesome. Great job helping somebody out. But what are you doing to tell the story? Hey, guess what? These people were so concerned about having money to close. You know, they had so many different bills that had come up. What we were able to do was negotiate from the seller money to get their interest rate down and to help cover closing costs. It meant the world to them because they were able to have enough funds to go ahead and close on their house, and we got their minimum payment or their monthly payment down. I'd love to be able to replicate this with you with your concerns, because the job of real estate agents is to get somebody from point A to point B. And the biggest thing that's keeping them from getting from point A to point B is some sort of an objection. And you have to get them past it by creating solutions. And the only way you're going to find out how to create solutions is to be curious, be different, ask those questions. Anybody can ask the question, what are you looking for in a house? What's your price point? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? No, tell me why this is important to you and what it's going to mean to you. What pain points do you have and what can we do to get you past that? So keep in mind, be different, tell the story.
Yeah, and I think
So
that not to just we're not going to be the people. I totally understand what you're saying with social media and just patting yourself on the back. We see it all the time. I sold X amount of $1 million, and it's like some of it's just like, oh, gross. You know, that's this just propping yourself up versus telling that story. I think is so important to do because you're helping people achieve. This is the biggest transaction they're likely ever going to do in their life, and you get to be a part of that. It's so cool to do that. I will say, as far as social media, um, again, the tech background, I don't think you need a professional account and a personal account. You can do them both if you really want to. Your personal account is fine. People want to know about you. People want there, and so that's the key I'm getting at is be careful what you're putting out there. Stay away from politics, stay away from religion, stay away from hot button topics. Don't be a Packers fan. I don't know, so don't be an Eagles fan around here, you know, but hosting kids for my kids play yesterday. People want to see that, and you get so much interaction. A lot of times because we're in real estate, all of us are in real estate here. There's not a whole lot of when it comes to social media, a lot of just new ideas. Everyone's copying everybody. Fine. And I've been a few different coaching circles around the country. And so I'm friends with hundreds of agents all around the country. And it's so funny to see the exact same post by like 20 people. But you know what? Those 20 people aren't serving that post to the same people. They're doing it to their friends and their sphere. And I posted one literally yesterday. We're having a conversation in the office about music and about people who had passed away too early. And I posted on Facebook, hey, who are your top 5 musicians that passed away too early? And it's, doesn't matter who the answers are, it's Jimi Hendrix or Tupac or Kurt Cobain, it doesn't matter. But it got people talking. And that's really what you need to be doing is continuing to talk. Don't always throw stuff at people that's a sales pitch. You can pepper that in there, but come from a place of just talking to people. And I do think when we go back to point number 1 on working your sphere, that social media is great. Don't go and Michael's going to talk about this a little bit, but don't just go like people's posts on Facebook. And yes, I'm 45. I do Facebook. So matter of fact, I think I'm more addicted to Instagram now because Facebook's just kind of hateful. But that being said, no one's ever going to get hey, happy birthday. It's my birthday, whatever. That's going to get like 800 people to like that. They're not going to go through and say something. But if somebody's got a story or a reel on Instagram, whatever it is, go and do that and comment on that. And you're starting a one-on-one messenger conversation with that person. And that's how you do it. You have that conversation that way. And you're, again, collecting more information. You saw their kid just won a baseball tournament or something like that. And that doesn't mean you got to run out and go buy them tickets to the Rough Riders. You could. That'd be an awesome gesture. But, what we don't want to convey here is that you have to go out and spend a bunch of money to be successful in real estate. There's ways to do that. All right, kick it back over to you, Michael.
And one of the things Brent's going to talk about here in a minute is how to think like a business owner when it comes to money and the cost of doing business. And we're going to kind of consolidate these next 2 points because we are coming up on time. So points 4 and 5 are very close to one another. So we're just going to consolidate them. And that's creating a schedule and getting disciplined and thinking like a business owner.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues that I've seen people that have gotten into real estate is that they have struggled with self-discipline. It's because we come from a background where you've been told in most jobs what time you have to be somewhere. I'll just give you a little humility. A job I worked for, I was told every day when I'm going to be there, when I'm going to leave, but when my lunch break was, when my personal breaks were going to be. God forbid I had to go and actually do something on my lunch break, go run an errand. If it didn't line up on time, it wasn't getting done that day. And if I went over by even a minute or two, I got a compliance notification. So people are so accustomed and so conditioned to doing that, that when they have been giving the freedom to create their own schedule, they don't know how to do it. And so what does a perfect schedule look like? Brent's going to ask about that here in just a minute, but it really is up to the person that you want to be and how you're going to brand yourself and what sort of targets you're going to go after. I'll be honest with you. I go after new leads. I work a lot of web registration, referral based leads. I work Sphere. I work past clients. I go out and generate a lot of business, and I work on branding. So each one of those things, in order for me to maximize that per week, I've allocated at least an hour and a half to each one of those. So on Monday, for an hour and a half, I focused on my hot sheet and my new leads. On Tuesday, I do my follow-up prospecting. On Wednesday, I do my branding and reputation. Thursday, I work on my Sphere. And Friday, if I've missed any of those things, because what happens to every single real estate agent once you start getting some transactions is boom, that takes over and everything else you forget about. And then when time goes by and you forget to go back and do something, then all of a sudden that's when you start letting things slip through the cracks. And I can tell you from with great confidence, most real estate agents, if they got really disciplined with a schedule, would get 3, 4, 5 more deals a year just by being organized. One thing that has been a game changer for agents that I've worked with before is a concept called Pomodoro time management. I'm going to share my screen again here with you guys to make a little bit more sense out of it. But it's called this Pomodoro technique right here. And what it is, and this is a website that you can go to, we're going to send it out. But what it talks about is the concept of short burst time management. There's a video about it, and it recommends you get a little timer, like a little kitchen timer. But the whole goal is that you pick a task. So today I want to work on calling new leads. I want to follow up with the leads that I got from that open house. I want to check on my inspection and my admin task and my transaction, whatever it is. You're going to set a 30-minute time block. And for the first 25 minutes of that, you're going to focus on that. You're going to put your phone away, social media away. You're not going to take any calls. You're not going to check any emails, nothing. You are going to be focused solely on that. And you can replicate that. After you do that 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee, get a drink, whatever, and then stack those on top of each other. And I can guarantee you that in 2 hours, by focusing on these Pomodoros, that you can get a full 8 to 10 hours of work done in 2 hours just because of that focus. I think a lot of people spin their wheels wasting time on a lot of tasks and not staying on task. Get organized and get disciplined. And along with that is thinking like a business owner. You've got to think about how you would approach things if this is your responsibility, because ultimately it is your responsibility. If you are a licensed real estate agent, you are a business owner. So you've got to think about all of those things. You've got to practice, like Brent said, role play, get better, develop your skills, partner with the right types of people, vendors, lenders, teams. I mean, whatever it is, you've got to partner with the right people, and you've got to consistently work and seek this out. I think every single one of you that are on this call right now are doing exactly that, because you are thinking like a business owner, because you're seeking out a resource that should help you. And I hope that you all are getting a lot of good content out of this, because these are the things that we have seen people that have really struggled to be successful in real estate have not done at a high level. And all it is just taking ownership of your business and treating it like a business.
So, and going through that, and again, like Michael said, we've got like 5 minutes here, so we're at a kind of wrapping up stage, and we weren't even able to cover. We are long-winded, believe it or not. Before I got into this, I was kind of shy, and now I don't shut up. So it's one of those things that we're trying to get through this, and there's just so much knowledge. So we're going to continue to do these. I will say just what Michael's saying, thinking like a business owner. There's competencies versus skills. That role play, things like that. But when you're thinking like a business owner, I have a team. So we have a lot of people that don't think about that, because as a team leader, I'm paying for everything, and they're part of the team. That partnership is that they go sell some houses. But when you leave, you've got to, like, what are you writing off on your taxes? There are things that you can do. You can leverage if you're doing client events, things like that. Oh, I can't afford all of that right now. That's fine. But there are ways to do that. You can have your inspectors that you use, your title people that you use help pitch in for events. We charge a transaction fee, $495 transaction fee to every buy and sell deal that we do. And it's a cost of doing business. Part of that pays for, if we have a listing, it's the signs that we have. We have a sign company that goes and picks them up and puts the lot boxes out. That is not a job I need to be doing. That is a 10 to 15 hour job. I need to be doing the high level job stuff. And that's the same. You need to learn how to leverage your time and leverage your vendors. That 495 pays for a transaction coordinator. I don't need to be pushing the paperwork. My job is to continue to prospect for more and more people. Again, and mortgage is another one. There's ways to make money off of mortgage. There's a lot of different supplemental income things that you can do that help offset any fees if you get to a point where you want to do that. Some extra items to consider. Door knocking. I don't do it. I don't like it. Some people do it. Some people swear by it. Paid online leads, the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, the pay-per-clicks, the Facebooks. It's certainly a cost associated with that. And, I could talk for days on that. Referral-based online leads, OpCity, Dave Ramsey, Ojo. Some people have different requirements to get into that. Like OpCity is, I think, like a 35% referral fee, but they give you the lead up front for free. Dave Ramsey, there's a $400 a month fee. There's a vetting process through that, and there's a 30% referral. HomeLight is another one. So there are websites that you can go to get free leads if you want to take that route. I still suggest going to point 1 and 2, hitting that past client sphere of influence, doing those open houses. That's a great way to start, and just making sure that if you want to be successful in this business, you 100% need to work that to manage your time and prospect 2 hours a day, and run 2 open houses every weekend. You're going to make 6 figures, no problem. Truly. We're going to put a survey link and we'll email it to you. We want to know how we did on this. If you felt like the content was good, I will say we don't even have time for the Q&A. Nicole Johnson asked a question about what's the best way to get free leads, and she does apartment locator. I would tap into your network, go into social media. If you want to spend a little bit of money, you could do some Facebook ads / Instagram ads. You can set a budget of like $10 a day, and you'd be surprised at who you reach. And so there's more conversations and coaching that could be done on that in itself. There are some ways to do that. And I know you asked about free lead sources. I think you need to be tapping into your network, putting that on social media. Who do you know? I mean, you may be more direct with that. Who do you know is looking for apartments is what I do. And then ask for referrals from those people. That's what you need to be doing on that. So I wanted to make sure I got to your question. We do have a survey, and we will say that, Michael, actually, you were going to touch on this point. Go ahead. Got like 30 seconds.
Yeah. So we are being honest about the fact that we do want to just try to enrich our local real estate community. So much of what we're covering today, even though a lot of it seems like it's in detail, was very surface level. There's so much that we can go into much greater detail on. And I think some of you, a handful of you, if not all of you, are probably going to have some questions about how do I apply this to my business goals? This is specifically what I want to do. So in the survey that we are going to send out to you, there is a question that will ask if you would like some additional time with Michael or Brent. Please submit that here. We'll follow up with you to try to set up some time to jump on a Zoom and have a further conversation about you and your personal goals specifically. So again, if you're looking to continue this conversation beyond just this webinar, we are planning on putting more webinars out that's going to continue to hit on certain content. But if there's content that we covered today that you want some more specialized personal one-on-one time with, do not hesitate to put that into that survey. We'd love an opportunity to help you out.
Yeah, and just remember, everything in this business and in life is earned, and it's not given. So you've got to get out there and you've got to go make it happen. It's one of the coolest parts about this job. You're in control of your own destiny, and you're going to get out what you put in. So let's get out there and just go kick some butt, and love to see you on the other side of a transaction. So let us know if you need anything. Survey is coming your way. It doesn't look like it's in the chat, so we will send it to you through, I think it comes through Zoom. So, but we'll get that to you right now. Thank you so much for your time. We're 1 minute over. Bye. Thanks, everybody.